Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nick and Trav. I'm Trav,
And I'm Nick.
and I finally figured out where I'm going. In case you didn't realize last episode, I was a little lost.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Those 2 blocks, the rudest of them all.
Yeah, well, turns out those 2 blocks weren't even supposed to be doing anything with them. It was just go jump off a ledge, literally. So, whatever.
Huh. Well, that's good. Now we can return to the quest.
Harmon Quest.
Oh my god. Okay. Can we talk about... You know what? Now that you say that, that's the subject for today.
Ooh, I hit a button. Okay.
D&D. D&D, boys. Okay. Harmon Quest. I'm not going to lie. That is the most commercialized I've seen D&D since, God, what's that stupid show on Twitch?
If it's on Twitch, I probably won't know what you're talking about. Oh, well, are you talking about Twitch or are you talking about Apple? Don't they have...
No, the one with Mercer. The I forget what it's called.
Oh.
It's a bunch of voice actors.
Yeah. Aren't they like supposed to be like in outer space or something? Like, I kind of know what you're talking about. Like,
yeah, it's on.
It's got like, I don't know, like Felicia Day and stuff too on it, right?
Hmm?
Oh, maybe I think it's something different then.
That's that mini series that made fun of MMOs. I think it's called The Guild.
Oh yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
That was the miniseries show that they did. No, I'm talking about there's like a whole campaign and thing from Matt Mercer. Oh, what was it called? Critical Role. That's what it's called.
Oh, that's
called
not
Critical Role.
That's not a Twitch thing. That's an actual podcast. Well, I mean, maybe it's got a video to it now, but
No, I remember it being like the biggest thing on Twitch.
oh,
For a while.
no, you know what I'm thinking of was oh, my brother really likes them, and it was a pretty fun listen. Adventure Zone, and I can't remember those guys' names.
Oh, the Mabim Bam guys.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Nick Griffin. Yeah, Nick Griffin from Polygon and his 2 brothers.
Yeah, brother, and brother, whatever their the other podcast is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my brother, and me.
Yep. There we go. Okay. Cool. I'm on the same page now.
Okay. Now, so you have Matt Mercer and a bunch of voice actors playing D&D, mostly scripted. And like, to me, I've been playing D&D since, oh man, like I was 12. I want to say one of my first forays into D&D was we went to Aaron's house and he was doing like this Western campaign with Tim, my brother, I think Patrick and Kevin, and I think a few other people. And they had me roll up like a paladin, and he had converted this whole environment to be a Western. So obviously, instead of a longsword, I had a musket rifle, and black powder and stuff like that.
Classic paladin weapon.
Yeah, classic paladin weapon. But the idea was we would be playing D&D, and it would be a world built by the DM, and we would do what we want to do. Now, I understand if you want to make a show, you make a show. Like if you have writers and the script and all that good stuff, good on you. And I say that for the people at Critical Role, good on them, man. They found a community, they built it up, they got a good show, people love watching it, people love listening to it, they're invested in the characters and the storyline and all this other stuff. And who be it me but a man that plays D&D a lot on the internet to be mad at how they do that.
But
most of those people that like, it was like so like how last episode, obviously LFR, was supposed to be like a thing that people can get into, and then kind of get real hype about.
Shit.
Ooh, you fucked up.
Go on. Yeah.
So like when you watch a new D&D, people playing D&D, or if you listen to people playing D&D like on a podcast or anything like that, you kind of want to be like, okay, there's kind of like a science to get it, going, especially when people are new to it, and they have an idea of what DMs can do and all that good stuff, and how storytelling is converted into D&D. And they kind of get, their expectations are put up a little high because obviously, Mercer, being a good voice actor, is a pretty good DM. He's really good at improv. He's able to, really look at his players and see what they want to do and move on from there. And he has a bunch of writers, and they have they make out the script about how the season's going to go. And then they kind of just do their thing, which is cool because now it's a commercialized show, and that's just what it is. It's made for purely entertainment. And what I find utterly horrific is that that's not how a normal D&D game works. Like, a normal D&D game is going to be a bunch of nerds just chilling, talking about dumb shit, and we're going to get derailed like every 20 minutes because of stupid jokes.
So is it kind of like, so I haven't seen it before, but is it kind of in the sense that like, this started with Harmon Quest in the same sense of like, just watching it, like, there really isn't much that matters. It's just kind of like, yeah, a thing happens, and then, it's like a 15-minute show or whatever, so it just wraps up real quick, real nicely, because, yeah, that's what was supposed to happen, and the voice actor doesn't, or not the voice actor, but whoever kind of famous that they got for the guest slot is just kind of like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but cool, we did it.
Well, see, with Harmon Quest, they literally take the old way of D&D, where the DM had control over everything. Where, like, you would just go, hey, I want to try this. And they go, okay. And then the DM would roll for it, and then give you the yes or no, and then explain what happens. That's old D&D. That's ghetto. That's ghetto old, back in the day D&D, like Edition 1, Edition 2, and early Edition 3. And it wasn't until, like, 3.5 where, like, everyone kind of cut loose and really gave power to the player instead of the DM, and the DM would set up the scenarios and kind of, not like shoehorn you into a path, but slightly guide you around.
Okay.
I mean, there are some people that are just like, fuck it, go do what you guys want. Flip the party, I dare you. But I like the way that Harmon Quest does it, because it's a show. Like, it is 100% a show. And they don't deny that. Oh shit, are we going Siegfried? Ah, we're going Siegfried.
We did it, boys.
Oh shit, here we go. He's got the soul edge. Let's get in there, bro.
Nightmare Hungers? No.
Where's your horse, bro?
Can't remember what that was.
As I was saying, the one thing that makes me very happy that Harmon Quest exists is Spencer, that his nerd friend. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that Spencer himself, he seems very relaxed in the DM position, and the hijinks that they do, and I want to say some of it is scripted, at least what's going to happen, and then their special guest obviously is there, and it's cut for time too, Trav. I'm pretty sure that they're there for a while,
Well, sure, yeah.
Because
I don't
there's
imagine they literally play for 20 minutes. But at the same time, that's what, if you ever listen to his podcast, Harmontown, that's kind of what they did. Because, like, he brought on Spencer to do specifically that. Like, that's what's kind of fun about his story is, like, he was just a nerdy, dungeon, D&D guy who, he was like, hey, do you just want to, play with us? And, yeah, sure. And then became like a whole thing. And to a point where he basically got employed to be dungeon master, and he was just like it was like as if you had went to his shows and just like, can I do it? Yeah, sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But see, like, the rant that I'm keeping myself off of is trying to tell people how to play the game.
You're keeping yourself off of a rant right now?
Yeah, like, because, dude, that's like, okay, the worst thing I feel I can do as a veteran player of D&D and as someone who loves Dungeons and Dragons is to tell people that they're playing wrong in a world of imagination. Like, you are not using your imagination correct. That's how stupid that sounds. All right, Travis, it sounds idiotic for me to tell you, hey, Trav, you're dumb because you don't imagine things right. And I mean, I
realize I've gotten you onto the rant, but I was more just making fun of the fact that you were ranting, talking about that you weren't going to go off on a rant.
Fuck you. It's simple, Travis, okay?
We killed the Batman.
Yes, we killed the Batman. But for me, it's more, look, you want to play D&D? Play it. Enjoy it. Love it. What I want is utter freedom. And when I say utter freedom, I mean, if we look at Wizards of the Coast currently publishing rules, I would want the rules, like with the adventure guides and all this other stuff. I want it to be universal, and I would love it for people to kind of like, okay, these rules work. This is what we like. This is what we want to do. And there's just been so much like controversy and just idiocy really floating around the community when they've released specific things for specific people. And it's like, okay, well, that's dumb, or that's stupid, I won't put that in my world, or I can change this, I can change that. But see, it also means that kind of diverts people from like local groups, like a pickup group. Like if, after Newsom in California opens up a little bit more, why not go to a comic shop and see if you can do a pickup game? And then when you go in there, if you guys are using just regular adventure guide rules, everyone can just pick up and go. But, obviously for me and for a lot of other players, we got like house rules and small little things here and there to make it work and have kind of like a more entertaining game, or an entertaining like character builder and stuff like that, with negatives or with crazy weird buffs. And the way that a lot of people like to think of their worlds is they kind of just think it up and kind of retrofit whatever they want to kind of retrofit. And there's a lot of pushback here and there from people that don't understand that this is a game built on imagination. Okay, if you can think it, put it in the world, figure it out. And it's one of those things where as a player, you're walking into that world. You're not there to mold it or craft it. That's what the DM does. The DM will do that. You're there to play in the sandbox. And I feel that shows like Critical Role and Harmon Quest and what else was there? Adventure Time with the Bim Bam. Well, not Adventure Time. Is it Adventure Time?
Adventure
that they
Zone.
did? Here we go, Adventure Zone, yeah. Yeah, with the Adventure Zone and all that, like, I mean, they bend a lot of rules, they add a lot of things, and I mean, once again, it's all for either comedic or entertaining effect, because obviously podcasts are made for people that need to drive to go to work. You know, that's a pain in the ass. Those shows on Twitch are, you know, slowly becoming animated, or they're recorded, so you have VODs, and that's, you know, for some people, that's their show. Instead of watching something on Channel 5, they pop on Twitch and they'll watch an hour of the last VOD of Critical Role. And it's one of those things where I feel, yeah, that's great, that's awesome, I love how D&D is growing, but the perception of when you join a game that is in progress, or when you do a big game, or try to even make a game of your own, you have to kind of, you know, you have to kind of have an imagination with it. And I mean, there are modules and stuff out there that Wizards of the Coast, and hundreds of people have used these modules. Not hundreds, but like hundreds of thousands of people have used these modules. Not only that, but there's also a site called the Dungeon Masters like Den or some shit like that, where there are hundreds and hundreds of different modules for any pen and paper RPG that you guys are playing, whether it be Pathfinder 2, Pathfinder 1, 3.5, D&D, 4th edition, 5th edition, whatever edition you're playing, there's obviously modules and things to work, and you can cookie cut and retrofit however you want. And I really want to stress that D&D is something for everyone. Everyone can play it, because I have not ever met a person that doesn't have a fucking imagination. You know, like I play a game of I've been playing a game of D&D for almost 40 years over Discord every Monday. And I mean, yeah, we have like, you know, a drawn map every now and again, but it's mostly in our heads. And that's the beauty of it. You don't need a lot to play D&D. And making it, trying to have like your first game, or trying to have like this big spectacle and thing like that, to be like your foray into D&D, I feel is so polarizing, because that's kind of not how it really works. And if you're new to D&D and you enjoy D&D, and that's something, and that's like a hobby you kind of want to get into, grab a couple friends, do a pickup game, buy the starter edition of a 5th edition for, I don't know, it's like $20 now. It's like a starter adventure. They give you pre-rolled characters, and they have their own quests and stuff like that. And it's really fun to do that. Well, it's really great.
Well, and to kind of add to what you're saying, as well as just kind of to, you know, shed some light on some of the stuff that I enjoy, is like, so, I mean, you know, D&D is only one option as far as like that type of play. Like, I mean, there's D&D, and then there's even, you know, like Star Wars has their own play system now, and like, you know, you have so many different things to where if you just want to like be in a certain type of world, or maybe just D&D just doesn't end up actually, the system doesn't come, like, it doesn't just fit in your head the way that it does for some people, and maybe you just don't like it. Whereas, you know, I mean, I've referred you to the podcast, and I think you listened to the film reroll.
Yeah.
That's my favorite podcast ever to listen to. That's just, it's a bunch of, at the end of the day, theater and film people who are just like, you know, they have, some of them do voice work, but there's like directors and actors and stuff of like stage plays and everything. And they're just improv actors who, they don't really know D&D either. Some of them do, but most of them don't. And you know, they play a GURP system, which I forget what they actually said. Generally universal role-playing system or something. I don't know. Whatever it actually stands for. It's just a pretty simple, like, I guess if you have one person who's kind of knows what they're doing, at the end of the day, you roll 3 6-sided dice, and then you have one number that you're looking at. You do better or worse, and then it's as simple as that. You do it or you don't do it, more or less. Same with like I really enjoyed while it was going on the campaign. It was a Star Wars podcast where they played what was that system called? Edge of the Empire.
Yeah.
Where they played that, and that was just a bunch of improv actors and like stage improv and everything. Where they're just fucking around and making the most of it. Like, I mean, to your point, they're like scripted and they're doing their thing, but like you could definitely tell that people get thrown for a loop or like some weird stuff happens, and at the end of it they're having fun, and there's different systems for that, and there's a way to enjoy that if you're into storytelling in any shape or form.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I love about D&D. It is literally for everyone. You can have the most in-depth story with the most meta characters built, and your party can be doing whatever the hell they want. Or you can literally just have a bunch of friends that want to get drunk, buy some pizza, sit down and go raid a dungeon. And make dick and fart jokes all night.
And I say all this with only ever playing like a 2 or 3 session campaign that never actually ended. But
yeah, and I hear you. It's what it is. But the best part is like the availability of people to do it, and the fun that people have doing it is always nice. I love the fact that people want to do these kinds of things, or they want to experience these kinds of games, and that's awesome. And I really hope there are more people, especially the younger generation now that COVID's kind of made us all stay inside. I really hope people are like, hey, let's keep playing this game, or let's experience this together, and that's just going to bring more and more fun. And that's my TED Talk.
I mean, that was a great, if you worked for D&D, then I hope they give you some money for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. No, we're not sponsored, by the way. Not sponsored by.
Not yet, but
No, not yet. Keyword.
But yeah, that was definitely get out there and play some tabletop. It's a great time, and I highly encourage, or at least certainly listen to some podcasts that either get you into it, or if you don't,
yeah,
get you started.
Because there's a lot. There are so many.
There are a lot.
There are so many, dude.
Definitely recommend a comedy one, just to kind of get your feet wet while at the same time having fun with it. But
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, I personally would recommend The Adventure Zone, and it's Nerd Poker with Brian Posehn and his friends.
Sure.
It's a bunch of comedians. It's great.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, campaign and the film reroll. I do Patreon for the film reroll. I'll support that. Till
I will.
Till they're dead, or yeah, like I love that. So
that's good. Yeah, dude.
But yeah, so next time on Nick and Trav.
All right. Well, hey, next time.
Smash
that,
it,
boys. Spice.
Smash that like button.
Spice.
Hit that LinkedIn. Hit that Indeed button. They got a thing, I imagine. Hit that.
I love the fact that there's Siegfried on the screen right now with the Soul Edge.
And we'll come back to that next time. So
oh my god,
stay tuned.
Have I got a story about Siegfried next time, boys? And it's about Gotcha Salt. Let's go.
Okay, come on, we need to end this.
Bye.
Bye, guys.